Hello and welcome back. This is Frederick from Tech Nordic. Today I have a customer request to show you what we can do with the box and some software in terms of demodulating and checking some telecom standards. And I'm just going to show you briefly how I use the Lte package from us, which you can download for a 30 days trial to get the license. If you want to GSM or 3G or Edge or any of those, we have other third-party softwares that integrated support for USB spectrum analyzers if you want to do it a little bit more in depth. But I think it can give you a good overall. So before I start, I just do the same thing as normal. I use the DPX window. I will open, as I call, an oscilloscope view or a time overview, which is this navigator view. And I know it's roughly at 800 megahertz. There's something, and you can see that it's a little bit low. So I go in here and I enable the internal preamp. This is only for the 500 and 600 series. You actually have control of the internal preamp, and then I do that in the ref level a little bit. And you can see that there's some Lte signals. You can also see here my collection data in the kind of scope window. 5 milliseconds is probably better. There's some activities over here. And then I'm going to use the trigger and just a trigger on this one so we can have a little bit more stable. Move it down a little bit. Where are we? Over here, so we at least get something. Yeah. Okay, here we are. We can start here and see what we can do. The other thing I did from the beginning was enabling the GPS. So this has a built-in GPS, it's locked, and that together with the frequency reference here. So I get a very, very good tracking on my oscillator. Okay, so here we are. What can we do? So in the menu over here, there is actually something called Lte Analysis. And I'm just going to show you some part of this, but the Lte constellation. And this is only valid for downlink in our software, not uplink. So here we go, and nothing works. So what I just do is I know that the stepping here is that there's one at 6. You can see from time to time. It's not really the strongest one, so we go to the next one. I think it's here. And you can see the constellation. It's not the perfect. I'm indoor with a really bad antenna, but you can see the plots here in the constellation. The things I can control a little bit more is under here is that I can enable equalization if I like to get a little bit smoother. You can see the control channels and the data channels. I can have the analysis time a little bit up so I have more symbols. Of course, more symbols takes more time, and I can just remove the equalization again if I like. So it's a very, very simple and nice tool. Maybe my trigger is a little bit, I can reduce it a little bit so we get some more data. And after this is done, this is how simple it is. So we can put that against auto again, and we're a little bit faster. And the other things that we can look at is in this one, in the Lte stuff, we can look at channel spectrum, power versus time, and adjacent power. So in this case, it's going to open some windows. It's going to be stopped a little bit. I'm going to tweak a little bit. So this one, the real time, we can close. We really don't need that one. We really don't need a spectrum. And if you end up with something like this, this is just you always have the possibility to move this around. Make them a little bit smaller. So in this case, we have swept here, and this one. Just need to check that so we can do it real time, like this. And now I'm checking most of it. This spectrum here, I'd like it to see as a measurement parameter, and it should be frequency domain averaging. So, if we have any burst here, we see it. So, I hope you find this, what you can do. As I said, this is indoor testing downlink from a base station, and it's a very simple, useful tool just to check. And you can see that the Lte power versus time, or what I have up here, is mostly the same thing. So we will add more ID to this. We get cell ID, group ID, sector ID. And if you want to try to change again, you go to, I think the other one was like 6, and we have a cell ID which is different. My reception is really poor here, 484 and cell ID 161. And I think actually there is something down here as well, here, and it's a different, you can see it's kind of odd. Hope you enjoy this short video, what you can do. As long as we have the data and there's some clever software, we can do whatever we want.
Find out more at Vicom's website.